what a day. Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show on this Wednesday edition. So thank you all for being here and joining us on this Wednesday. And God, Kim, what a Wednesday to have a show. Shocking news, of course, that we're going to start with. Turning Point founder, Charlie Kirk, fatally shot today. And the country reacts. Hit that subscribe button, that thumbs up button. We will get your reaction and the appropriate reaction, because it has quickly, politics and controversial people very quickly divided people on what is appropriate and what is the appropriate response, especially given the person we are talking about. Real quickly, thank you to all the people who support our show. We have our Patreon, our super chat, super stickers, of course, are always up and running. But let's get into it. So the very latest, of course, Kim, it wasn't the old man they basically tackled at this Utah event. It was on a college campus in Utah. This old man had yelled, and I do it. Apparently, allegedly, he yelled, and I do it again. And he was arrested. And so they thought that he was the guy that shot Charlie Kirk. And so you'll see images. George Zinn, apparently, is his name. And there's pictures of him, and he was a person of interest. Everyone was like, oh, they got the suspect. And then very quickly we learned that he was not the guy. And apparently now there's video of a guy on a roof. If you have not seen the video, I urge you, it was on their feed constantly. They could not stop scrolling and seeing it. It was everywhere.
Interesting. I looked for it on YouTube and I couldn't find the video of him.
Oh, good. So it's been scrubbed. It's been
because
scrubbed.
I wanted to see what my kids saw. Interestingly, after the shooting, both Marley, your daughter, and Julia, my daughter, who are juniors in high school, saw the video that was being passed around in school, and they picked up the phone and they called both of us and said, did you hear that this happened? I had already been talking about it on the air, but kids care. And I think that's where I didn't really understand his importance. I looked at him as just another guy spouting this racist, misogynist crap, and I paid him no mind. But young people in this country know exactly who he is. I'm fascinated that both of our daughters knew who he was and cared enough about what happened to call us.
I apologize. People are saying that my audio is choppy. Kim, I don't know if you can hear it. Does my audio sound choppy?
I hear you fine. I heard that it was choppy, and then someone said, "Oh, it's better. It's
okay,
back."
Good. So if it's not, maybe it's StreamYard. If it's bad, choppy audio. Okay, I apologize. Maybe it's StreamYard. I apologize. But if it gets bad, okay. So
says my audio is choppy too. That's weird.
It must be StreamYard. We're gonna blame StreamYard.
Because we sound normal to each other.
Yeah, you sound normal to me.
Audio says both of you are bad, says Justin. Is it bad enough that we need to back out and restart? Or is it doable and it'll fix itself? That's the question.
Okay, I don't know. I really want to have this good conversation. Okay. I'm gonna let's
we both can't close, so why don't you go and then I'll go.
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go first since I was trying first, and then Kim's gonna stay out.
You go and then I'll go. Yeah. If that doesn't happen, then we have to recreate the show, and then everyone here has to move to a different show. It would be a pain in the butt. So hopefully this fixes it, and hopefully you guys can hear me. I saw this note from Agolf, who says Turning Point USA has been grooming the youth on the internet for a really long time. I guess I know that that's the case, and I know that Charlie Kirk he goes to the college campuses, but I didn't realize, I guess, that younger kids, high school kids, knew who he was. And I was surprised that my own kid knew who he was. But this was a big thing at school today. Everyone talking about it, big debate in the car afterward. You know, the right way to feel about this, and the way I feel, what I teach my kids is, never wish ill on anyone. Never wish harm on anyone. That bad karma comes swinging right back around at you. It's not selfish reasons only that you shouldn't wish harm on anyone. It's a moral, ethical thing that you shouldn't wish ill will toward people. I know that. I try to teach my kids that. But after this happened, I can't say that I was super sad, and that's a horrible way to feel. Really horrible way to feel. But I find this man, Charlie Kirk, to be vile, awful, spreading misogyny, spreading racism. My daughter and I got in, and she says you should never face violence for your views. I agree. However, I've heard it said that, that guy at the end of the bar who's spouting off can expect a punch in the mouth at some point. I don't feel that way. I think everyone should have a right to speak their mind. We got in a discussion, though, about the difference between liberals speaking their mind and opinions and conservatives speaking their mind and having opinions. One of the things that I thought was different is that when liberals speak their minds, they usually are advocating freedom for people. If you want to marry someone of your same gender, do it. If you want to be a different gender than you are, so be it. You're not hurting anyone. Whereas conservatives or ultra conservatives like Charlie Kirk, when they speak their mind, it's about putting other people down, taking rights away from people, hurting people, degrading people. And I think that's why I'm not feeling sad about this. Sad that it's a commentary on our society and where we are with political violence. Not sad, though, that this guy's gone.
Oh,
all right, I'm going to check out.
Am I better? Please tell me that I'm better.
Well, I think you're better, but we'll see what the audience has to say.
I was listening while my computer was re-upping and I was terrible. Oh my God. I was listening
really?
I listened back on my phone and it was awful. So sorry, guys. Please tell me if I'm better, because if I'm not, that was really bad. Am I? Let me know. I'm waiting for you guys to tell me if it's any better, because if it's not, I apologize. Okay, great. Because that was bad. Thank you guys for telling me, because that was absolutely terrible. Okay, I don't know what Kim was saying because I was listening to the beginning of it. But yes, Turning Point USA has been grooming the youth on the internet for a long time. So I don't know if Kim told you about how her daughter was reacting. I was at school, and so I have a lot of downtime at school when I'm working. And so I got the news that Charlie Kirk had died, and I was preparing for the show. And all of a sudden, I look at my phone and I have 2 texts from my daughter, who's not supposed to be on her phone at school. And she's like, "Oh my God, Charlie Kirk is dead." And I already knew that Charlie Kirk had been shot, but I didn't know that he was dead. I was like, he's not dead. She sends me the video because these kids, right? I made the mistake. I watched it. Don't watch it. I watched it. And I told her, don't watch that video again. Yeah, if you watch the video, you know he's not going to make it. Once I watched the video, you know he's not going to make it. There's no way. I work with the nurse that I work with was actually at work with me today. She looked at the video. She's like, "Oh yeah, no, there's no way you come back from that." Just the location in his neck where he was shot. That's a death shot, basically.
Yeah. So is our sound better? Are we all fixed?
Is Kim better? Because she sounded good to me. I was awful. So yeah. Thank you guys for letting us know, because there was no way we were going to listen to that. Okay, so my daughter and my children, I'm telling them what I told you before the show about how my children found out, and they come up to me, and like you were telling me before the show about how Julie knows about him. My kids are well aware of who Charlie Kirk is. And I knew that the kids know. I mean, especially for young men, young Republican men and women, I would say young Republican women, he is this figure. He is bringing up this next generation of young Republicans. And he is this figure. Although I can't, and I will be honest. I will be honest. I do not agree with this guy. We've talked about him. Remember, he was the first person on Gavin Newsom's podcast, right? We've talked about how he feels about women. Women get their MRS degree. We've talked about Charlie Kirk many, many times on this show. I disagree with him vehemently on pretty much everything. But I would never wish death on anybody. You have to be sick in the head. I truly believe this, to not be able to win the argument with words, right? Like if you have to take it to the level of somebody taking somebody's life, you've lost the argument. Does that make sense?
Is it wrong for me to say that I'm not sad, though? I mean, I'm sad about political violence in America, and I'm sad that this is where we are, that we can't have different voices, and that, you know, someone is shot for their opinion or who they are, assuming that that's why he was shot, right?
Right.
But is it wrong for me to not be sad that he personally is gone, and that I'm not going to miss his voice?
Here's my answer to this, and this is my honest to God, because I've asked myself this, right? Like, how do I honestly feel? Charlie Kirk is a person. He's a father. He's a husband. There are going to be other Charlie Kirks. So if you think that the world being without a Charlie Kirk is going to rid the world of a person with these ideals that you don't like, no. So it's sad because somebody has lost a husband and a father. So in a way, it's kind of like, it's just sad because of this family being impacted. You know, I don't know him. And that's what I was telling my kids. I'm like, we don't celebrate somebody's death. And I don't know him personally enough to be impacted either way on somebody's death, right? I don't know him. His death really doesn't impact me either way.
You could assume, though, and yes, it's sad that the kids are going to grow up without their dad, but he probably would have raised them to be the racist misogynist that he was.
You never know.
He was a vile person, and I don't know how you take that out of the equation. I just don't know.
Okay, well, the other thing that's going around, of course, are his own words. Now, people are saying, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to explain why I think it's fair to play his own words right now, especially because he died in gun violence. And this was a speech that he gave not too long ago. It was actually after a mass shooting, where he was talking about, you know, especially mass shootings, people dying in gun deaths, and the sacrifice we make. So I'm going to play it first, and then you tell me whether or not you think that it's fair or not to play it. Here we go.
Now, we must also be real. We must be honest with the population. Having an armed citizenry comes with a price. Wow. And that is part of liberty. Wow. Driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year.
Remember, he said that.
That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less auto fatalities. But we have decided that the benefit of driving, speed, accessibility, mobility, having products, services, is worth the cost of 50,000 people dying on the road. Wow. So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. Right. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. Sure. So then how do you reduce? Very simple. People say, oh, Charlie, how do you stop school shootings? I don't know. How did we stop shootings at baseball games? Because we have armed guards outside of baseball games. That's why. How do we stop all the shootings at airports? We have armed guards outside of airports. How do we stop all the shootings at banks? We have armed guards outside of banks. How do we stop all the shootings at gun shows? Notice there's not a lot of mass shootings at gun shows. There's all these guns. because everyone's armed.
And yet, his event was not that secure. Apparently, they had plainclothes people in the audience. He had his own security team. Apparently, he didn't heed his own advice, which surprises me because of somebody so controversial. But let's go back to his idea of sacrificing, death, people's lives for the Second Amendment. I just think that if Charlie Kirk could hear people use his own words right after his death, and I can't speak for him because I don't know him, but I think he'd respect it. I think he would. If he truly meant those words that he just said. He is a victim of the sacrifice he believes Americans should make to protect the Second Amendment. And if he truly believes the words that he said, sadly, he is among the victims in America every year that die by gun violence. And it's okay in his eyes because we live in an armed society. Now, I don't agree with him. That is his belief. Now, if he had died, as he said in the beginning, in a car accident, this conversation would go completely differently. Flags would not be at half staff, which still blows my freaking mind.
Not even a political official.
Exactly.
Weird.
But you see what I'm saying? He mentions car accidents in the same breath as gun deaths, as if they're related. But let's do that. If he had died in a car accident and had been among the 50,000 people a year that die in car deaths, we would not be having the same conversation. We would not. So it's not the same, but he wants to make it the same. So let's talk about it the same. He is simply a victim of what we want to have, the collective we in America, to have the Second Amendment. And so it is fair and it is okay to use the words today to explain why he died, sadly, to protect the Second Amendment. And that's why I think it's okay.
The way John Watson put it, he died of the Second Amendment.
And he's okay with it. I really, truly believe if he believes that, he's fine with it. He's fine with it.
I've heard it questioned today. I have video of Cory Booker that I want to play for you as well, who talks about the political atmosphere in America and how we are a country that is becoming more and more violent. We saw it with the lawmakers killed in, I believe, Minnesota. Was it Minnesota? Yeah. We've seen things get more violent. You see Trump over and over again getting politically very vitriolic. He's calling.
Yes.
Well, more and more and more and more, and it's getting worse and worse. Years ago, he put a target on the backs of media. That only gets worse. The way he talks about people and his enemies and his, whole retribution tour, the whole thing, it's getting more ugly. It's getting more divided. And so, yes, he died of the Second Amendment, but also, is he also a victim of MAGA and this nasty, horrible political atmosphere that we're in? He supported that, right? He's a guy that you could say anything, vicious, mean, and nasty. And that's okay because we've got the First Amendment and it's freedom of speech. But it's never freedom of speech without freedom from consequence. And I do not advocate political violence. But here we have the possibility that this may have been a consequence of being the part of the ugliness of MAGA. Take a listen to what Cory Booker had to say today about the death of Charlie Kirk.
I heard that Charlie Kirk got shot, and now I hear that he's dead. My heart goes out to his family and his loved ones. But I think all Americans should be mourning right now because this is another attack on our country. It's a political assassination. And this is just another signpost that we are in crisis because political attacks, heinous, violent political rhetoric in our country is going up. not be viewed through a partisan lens. It should be viewed through a patriotic one. We all have a responsibility to deal with this growing crisis in our country of political violence. All of us have to take a hard look and do what's necessary to secure our democracy and end this scourge that seems to only be getting worse. So I heard that Charlie.
So that's what he has to say. I mean,
So how do we do that? Let me ask you. So you were saying, you mentioned Trump and you mentioned MAGA, right? Even within that question, right, there's a choosing of sides, right? Like it's hard to even talk about the issue without putting people in boxes, right? So it's, somebody very close to me texted me right after and was asking whether the liberals were happy, as if being liberal means that you're celebrating the death of a human being, which in my mind is sickening. Like, of course, in my mind, of course not. I don't know Charlie Kirk. I would never be happy about that. It's an awful thing that I would say to feel. But that's where we are as a country, is where there's sides. And it shouldn't be that way, right? Now, we could point to people who we think have made us this way, right? I was sitting in my car thinking about this, Kim, and I was like, my Pollyanna-ish comes out and is like, we should just have a wall of things you can't say, right? Like, is this okay to say? And if a politician uses these words, they're blasted for it. Like, that's not okay to say. You need to find a different way of saying it. If you don't agree with a person, you have to say it in a way that's not, full of vitriol or name calling. Like, we need to start as people, as citizens, calling out our lawmakers on both sides, right? And be like, can we stop acting like children? Now, I'm saying this in the same vein of Gavin Newsom, right? Giving Trump a taste of his own medicine and us loving it, right? Because it's so childish. And we're trying to hold up a mirror to it. He was supposed to have an FO event today, the governor, and he obviously rescheduled it for next week.
Yeah.
Louise, thank you for the $5 donation. He says, we do not know who the killer is or the motivations. Yet that scumbag, Jesse Waters, is on air calling for more violence, declaring war on the left. That's what needs to be called out.
Right.
That kind of stuff. I know it won't be, because we live with the First Amendment. That should be a crime.
We also don't know I don't know if there's more information about who the suspect is in this case.
Well, I was looking on X, and apparently they arrested some, I don't know if it's the guy, but some white dude in a hat I saw. I don't know if it's the guy, but who knows? I don't know. He's crazy. It's a crazy dude.
There have been multiple incidents of violence. I think one of the was it the kid that opened fire on Trump, or I don't know. They said he was liberal, then he said he was MAGA. We don't know what the motivations are, and really, there's sometimes no logic for people that do this, except there's mental illness afoot, right? Or somebody's crazy enough
to shoot somebody.
So
right?
Who is it really? Why do we put our reasonable, thinking cap onto these people who are not reasonable? That we say, oh, it's the Democrats' fault. No.
We're hoping that it's not the person on our side. That's what we're hoping for. Everybody's hoping that it's somebody that doesn't look like us or isn't our political party. Everyone's hoping it's the other side, and we need to stop doing that. And FBI Kash Patel, director, said they have somebody. Is it not the suspect? That was the last thing that I heard. A person of interest, maybe. That's what I heard. Kevin Wells says, are there any libs calling for war on the right? I agree with you, Kevin. And this again is the problem. Sometimes I feel, going back to sides, there's a certain side that acts like the adult in the room, or at least our commentators do. And our like Obama and Biden, all of us coming out and nobody's saying terrible things, right? Now, I will say that sometimes Trump has held back, right? But sometimes he's come out with some really nasty crap. when terrible things have happened to Democrats, right?
Right.
Like the Pelosi thing, and you know what I
Horrible.
mean? Like horrible things.
But is the only answer that we condemn political violence in America and we condemn what happened to this person? Or you have Surf and Tumbleweed, who says, you reap what you sow, keeps coming to mind. You have John Watson. The Bible says, if you sow the wind, you shall reap the whirlwind. So what is there only one right answer, or can you have conflicted feelings about this?
Absolutely.
And know
I think you can have
that
conflicted feelings.
morally, ethically, yes, we don't wish political violence on someone, but also look at who the person was, what they said, and if they had their own security, they must have been getting a lot of threats. You don't live in a vacuum. You're saying these horrible things in the world, and you have to expect that there's some response. Do I think you shouldn't be able to speak your mind in America? That freedom of speech doesn't mean very much? Absolutely not. But here's a guy, you just played the clip, who knows that we have guns in America, who understands that we have political violence, and that he must know that he's at risk.
He even said it a couple weeks ago, apparently. He's like, but he was like calling out names and like the blue-haired woke people. And like he uses these terms. He knows he's being controversial. He makes money off of it, but he also knows that it's dangerous. And is it worth being controversial for a paycheck? Like he knows what he's doing. Don't act like Charlie Kirk doesn't, amp up the controversy. It's not like he needs to be that 24/7. He does that because it also brings in the money. It brings in the people that want to hear it. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to be that way all of the time, but he knows that being that way keeps him in the headlines.
Absolutely.
And keeps the dollars flowing in.
Keeps the clicks and the likes and all of that business.
Exactly. So that's also part of it. And that's what's surprising. Yeah, you were in Utah. And I think that also might have been the thing. He let his guard down. I mean, you're in Utah, right? Open carry state, though. I mean, you need a concealed weapon, but they are an open carry state. They're a red state. And for somebody saying you should have guns everywhere, he sure as hell didn't have enough.
So
Where's
noted.
the good guy with the gun? Where was the good guy with the gun that was protecting Charlie Kirk? I don't know where the good guy with the gun was.
It was scary for those people. I mean, I've heard witness accounts how they're pushing, people pushing friends and loved ones down, getting on top of them, people, trying to help each other, running chaos, fear. This is not what I want America to be. But something else I hope happens is that Charlie Kirk won't be elevated to some kind of, fallen angel of the MAGA party, or some kind of someone that we always bring up and think about, and look what happened to him, who won't be some kind of martyr. I hope that what he's remembered for is the ugliness he put out into the world. Case in point.
Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the
you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe. I wouldn't think that if the CEO of United or these airlines would reject DEI and say excellence is the ultimate standard. Is if I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily wholesome. It creates resentment, doesn't it, Heather? No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
Charlie Kirk has no problem putting his true beliefs about anyone.
And so that's just a taste. That's just a taste of who he was. Let's remember that guy. That's who he was. So I don't want him to be elevated or martyred or like, let's, cry big crocodile tears. How about let's cry crocodile tears for the fact that we have political violence in America, that we can't, we're so divided that we can't even have a conversation about it. But I'm not going to miss him. I'm not going to miss his voice.
Well, and I like that you actually said that, because that's actually what his events are. I didn't agree with him, but that was the premise of his whole tour, is that, it's like, prove me wrong. He does this. They're very argumentative. His final words, which is what I was saying, was literally about shootings. They were talking about transgender mass shooters. That was literally, I think his final words were, are you talking about gang killings? Because it was like he was trying to make a comparison, and that's when he was shot. Like the irony is so thick around his final moments. He's wearing a white shirt that says freedom on it. He's talking about mass shootings. He's a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. He has a lax security, and he's shot. Like it goes back to what I'm saying. He is a victim of the very thing he believed so strongly in. And while it is sad, it's what he believed in. So I feel for his family. I really do. But that's what he went out doing what he loved, honestly, doing his tour, talking about what he believed in. Luis says, death does not make you a better or worse person. You are in death what you were in life. I would never promote violence, but I'm not sorry he's gone. I know him. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I did not know him. I did not listen to him. I'm glad that I'm not going to have these clips of him talking about getting an MRS degree and all that kind of misogynistic ideal. But my life is literally no different with Charlie Kirk in or out of it. It's not. It's not. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. He had zero impact on my life, except honestly, and this is so heartless, for content. Like he would say crazy stuff, and I would use it sometimes for the show.
And we showed this on the show recently, but I think that young people were listening, and that's where I think his words had power. Remember what he said about Taylor Swift.
This is something that I hope will make Taylor Swift more conservative.
Yeah, see, content.
Engage in reality more and get outside of the abstract clouds. Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge. And most importantly, I can't wait to go to a Taylor Kelsey concert. I can't say it without laughing. You got to change your name. If not, you don't really mean it.
Yeah. See,
racist, misogynist guy. And the world is sad that he's gone. No, we should be sad that we're a country that has to resort to violence now. It's interesting because Julia's taking U.S. history in high school, and we were talking last night as we were watching Hamilton, and she was doing her homework, and she was reading to me George Washington's letter describing why he wasn't going to be running for a third term, his farewell letter, basically.
Right.
And in the letter, he talks about that America will be done in, basically, by division. If we have two parties, if we have, two factions that are so separate. And she said, look at what's happening today. And now the next day, here we have this prime example of this division. We can't survive as a country with this kind of division.
No, we have to go back, and maybe we never were this way. Maybe it was just we had fewer people. Honestly, maybe we had fewer people, more space between our homes. Like that's, and I'm being literal here. Fewer people, and it was the boomer era where things were good. My parents' generation, when they were going up, the economy was good, right? Like things were up, and it stopped. And so now it's harder. We live closer. We can't afford stuff. And so, people are kind of hoarding what they can and choosing sides. And so it's hard. This great experiment of the United States. I don't think it's a failure. I just think that we're adjusting, and I don't know what it's going to be on the other side of this, what our kids are going to have. I am really exhausted, though, by the political discourse. I don't know if that's going to, I hate to use the word die, but kind of die with the boomer generation, right? Like, because the boomer generation is the boomer generation, what they are leaving behind just economically and just by leaving in numbers is going to completely changed the makeup of our country, like significantly, by numbers, by the number of people in the workforce, by the number of homes. Like if you talk to economists, it's going to be very interesting what's going to be happening over the next decade, let's say. So I don't know what it's going to look like. But what our kids are going to have is going to look vastly different than what we had. That's for sure.
Marcus says people are sad this guy is gone, but not when the kids are at school shootings are murdered. Here's the thing, Marcus. I don't think that Republicans are going to be standing up and saying, see, we need to have better gun control because Charlie Kirk got killed. Just like they're not saying that about the kids at the Catholic school or at Sandy Hook or at any other school where there was a shooting.
They're just saying the world's crazy. That's what they're saying.
Right. They'll just blame Democrats or people that are liberal and they'll move on. Luis, thank you for another $5. He says, thank you for doing this show and providing a place to process. Love ya. Gonna go watch Spinal Tap 2 and get away from the madness. I understand.
Oh, Spinal Tap 2.
Yeah,
That's good.
Can I mention a conversation when Julia got in the car when I picked her up from school today?
Please.
We were talking and she couldn't believe that I was saying I wasn't sad that he was gone. And one of the things we had a discussion about was freedom of speech and the difference between what liberals say and what conservatives or ultra conservatives say.
Right.
We had talked last night about the difference between Republican and MAGA, and there is a difference between them, right? But what I was thinking is when you listen to the comments of liberals, you hear, if people want to marry their same gender, let them. If people want to not be the gender they are, let them. Like you hear a support or just a general tolerance in the speech and you call it rhetoric of liberals and Democrats. But what you hear from the ultra conservatives is, let's take away the women's right to choose. Women shouldn't have. Recently, I've heard more than one say women shouldn't even have the right to vote.
Exactly. Like, are they scared? They're scared of women. I just feel like those people are just
totally scared of women.
Scared of women. Absolutely.
They're talking about, as we just played, DEI. Being scared of others for taking your job, your white jobs, or whatever it is. The othering. As a matter of fact, I just saw Scott Bessent say, the new jobs that were added, they're the jobs that are for the citizens, not for the immigrants. It's a difference of, on the liberal side, not hurting people with your words, and on the conservative side, trying to weigh down and hurt people with your words.
Right.
And so while I believe in freedom of speech, I also believe we have to really, truly look at what people are saying. They're free to say it, but once again, freedom of speech is not freedom from consequence, and here the consequence play out. Again, not advocating violence, not advocating this particular consequence, but that's the United States of guns, my friend.
And I think that people are learning the consequence of what happens to them, but at the same time, Charlie Kirk being shot and killed is just one gun death. You know what I mean? There was a mass shooting in San Francisco, right? There was also, I put on the rundown today, that Ukrainian woman that Republicans were, guess who Republicans are no longer going to talk about today, right? That Ukrainian woman that died on the train that they were all up in arms about. Now it's all going to be about Charlie Kirk, right? Like there are she was stabbed on the train. There are so much death and killing in this country, and people are going to say it's mental illness and whatever, but that's what we need to talk about, right? Like I understand what you're saying about what message are we giving the children, but I think we also need to understand this is so much bigger of a problem than that, right? Charlie Kirk never went to college. You know what I mean? Like he went to high school. I think he went to I think he went stepped foot on a community college once or something like that. Like his story is he was handpicked to do Turning Point, and then he just started spreading this rhetoric. But he's infested the brain of people and spread all of this nonsense. the person that shot him was probably mentally ill, right?
Right.
And he's joined a political party that doesn't want to fund healthcare, which is going to have a ripple effect with mental health care. He's joined a political party that doesn't believe in gun control, which ironically led to probably something that had to do with his death. It's all a confluence of nonsense in this country that we don't want to deal with. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly what you said. It's a confluence of problems that we have that we refuse to fix. We refuse it. And we look away. We look away from our gun problems, and we look away from our mental health problems, and we refuse to do anything. And we look away from our political problems, and we think it's okay. We just have a difference of opinion. Right. We don't just have a difference of opinion. We used to be a society that could engage in dialogue.
Agree to disagree, right? Agree to disagree.
That's right. No matter how you felt about an issue, it was okay. We disagree with each other, we move on. Now we disagree with each other, we open fire. No.
That's insane. That's insane. I mean, okay, so we had the Ukrainian woman that was stabbed by the mentally ill person. Okay, that was the mentally ill person. We had a mass shooting yesterday evening in San Francisco's India Basin. We had a shooting at Evergreen High School. I think this was in Colorado. I mean, we could just pick and choose, choose a city. I'm sure you could choose a mass shooting. This is America. And again, the Catholic school shooting wasn't that long ago. I mean, are we really I'm not trying to minimize what happened today to Charlie Kirk, but again, one person. Yeah, he has a big name, but he is a victim of something that he believed in. Sad for his family. And I'm not trying to be, insensitive here, but he truly believed in the Second Amendment. And so this is a sacrifice that he honestly probably is willing to make for it. So yeah, I mean, again, I hope they find if the person that they arrested, the person of interest is the person. I hope that he's, tried and convicted, and just like anybody else that takes the life of somebody. And all those people at that university in Utah, they're completely traumatized. And it's just going to add to the political discourse in this country. And it completely sucks. But nothing is going to be done. Absolutely nothing. Especially in a country where, the other story I wanted to talk about, of course, was the U.S. Supreme Court siding with Trump on the immigration raids, right? It's a whole nother othering. It's a whole, besides politics, right? We have this whole other race thing that we're othering people about. And now you can't go to East LA and stand next to Home Depot too quickly and have too much melanin in your skin.
Well, I would argue.
Or you better have your papers on you. You better have your ID.
I would argue that it's all of California. At least that's the ruling covered California, soon to be all of America. If you look at all brown,
right,
you better carry your passport with you because your driver's license might not be enough.
You
better carry your birth certificate. Like this is
crazy to me.
I hate the comparison to Nazi Germany, but all I can think about running through my head is show me your papers, right?
Yeah, show me your papers.
Show me your papers.
That's what they're basically saying, though. I mean, tell me it's not that.
The ruling is that the ICE has the ability and the right to stop you and question you based on your appearance, the language you speak, where you happen to be. Are you hanging out at the car wash? Are you in the Home Depot parking lot? Are you somewhere they feel like you ought not to be, or that illegal or undocumented immigrants would be congregating? If so, they can stop and ask you anything. And what if you're someone who's an American citizen who just doesn't have their birth certificate in their purse, or
why would you have that?
In their wallet? Because we have never needed that, right? Because this is the United States of America.
Exactly.
How un-American, how discriminatory, and how ugly.
How appropriate, Agolf Twitter writes. And what happens when they take away your papers or are accused of taking away those papers, and then they don't give you your due process? You know what I mean? Like, so, this hits a little bit home to me because I have two children. One of them is much lighter skinned than the other. My son is very dark skinned. Like he's brown, like me. Like, and no, I mean, we live in the Bay and I'm not too worried about it. And he doesn't speak Spanish. And I wouldn't think that he would ever get rounded up, but he might. Who knows? I don't know. What have you got? I have no idea what could possibly happen. And how awful would it feel to be scared that my American-born child could just be snatched off the street because of how they look? There was the reason why this was also brought up. There were American citizens brought up where one of the guys like literally said, he's like, I was born in East LA, and they were eventually let go. But if you don't sound American enough, they'll take you. And I can't believe that this is America. You know, I really don't understand why people are happy about it. They're so happy that Trump is doing this and not seeing the other side of it. Like America loses so much. And going back to the economy and boomers, have you guys seen the job numbers? Have you seen how many workers we're losing? Like, you know, there's so many, like we're losing jobs. We're also not filling the number of workers. Like, talk to economists. I was reading this entire article about how the numbers are not adding up about what workers we need for what positions. Mm-hmm. And you might think that there's Americans that are going to be plugging these holes. There's not. And if Trump's not letting in these foreign-born workers, we're screwed. And it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And again, it's another part of this othering that is hurting us just to make political points. That's it. It's just to make political points.
I realize they're going after people of color at this point.
Of course.
The other day I said something like, you know, the talked about the quote, first they came for so-and-so, then they came for so-and-so, and finally they came for me and whatever. Like, you have a chance to stand up all along the way until finally you and your family become the victim, right? And that what's to say that, you know, first it's people that are brown, and then it's people that are black, and then it's people that are Asian, and then it's people that are fill in the blank, and then maybe it's people that are liberal, or it's people that are whatever. Like, I don't know. And I was accused of somehow like co-opting being a victim, like whatever. I'm not saying that I'm the victim. I know that white people right now are safe, but what I'm saying is everybody, regardless of your color, has the opportunity right now to speak out against what's happening. And if it's not enough for you that it's unfair to people of color, even American citizens who are getting swept up in this, even my friend Nikki, who now has to worry about her kids maybe making a copy of the birth certificate and putting it in the backpack, right?
Then, well, I mean, who knows? You might be at danger because you speak out and so you're on a liberal talk show.
Worry about yourself as well. Like, this is another reason to speak out, because we're all at risk. Mm-hmm. It starts with one group and it goes, then it seeps out like a cancer into society. This is not what America is, and it's not who we are, and we should not stand for it. And that the Supreme Court okayed this it's despicable.
Yeah. Well, that's your Supreme Court for you. You know what I mean? And again, I look at myself from like 4 years ago, you know, during COVID, and just thinking like, you know, they're judges. I honestly thought this. I was like, they're Supreme Court justices. Like, yes, they may have conservative viewpoints, but they know the law. Like, I really, truly, I had this naive belief that yes, you could have conservative beliefs. And it very quickly turned. I'm not kidding, like the upside down flag and all that crap. Mm-hmm. But like, I understand it, but no, law is law, and precedent is precedent, and what's right is right and wrong is wrong. And these are people, and there is this belief that when you are a Supreme Court justice, that you just don't willy-nilly, for lack of a better term, do something like this. Like, you understand your history. And it still blows my mind that this asshole, and sorry, and I know that I'm doing a political discourse, but I'm sorry, Donald Trump has completely changed politics since 2016 in this country. He has. And you can say not. I mean, I can name other people. I really can. But as president of the United States, in that position, and who he's appointed and in courts and things like that, the impact he has had on politics in this country, insane. Insane.
The question is, once he's out of office, assuming he ever is, will we be able to reclaim what we had? Can we, as they say, put the horse back in the barn? Can we get back to, can we realize, given the assassination of today, can we realize this is not working for us? Can we realize this is not the way it has to be, and that it was much better when we were civil with each other and could have a discussion? Will we ever be able to go back to that place? And the next time we see a public figure come out with nastiness and hatred in their heart, will we be quicker to call it out? Or are we stuck in this now? This is the way we are.
It's a good question. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea. I would hope so. It's kind of like cutting the head off the snake. I wonder, because again, I hope we can, given the fact that they couldn't replace Trump, right? Like they had to go back to him. That re-electing him showed us that the Republican Party didn't know who to place there. And I really just don't see, at this point at least, JD Vance being that guy, at least at this point. Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I had this article the other day that I was looking at, and it was, here it is, NBC News. Trump is helping JD Vance pad his political fund as questions about 2028 loom. That is the headline. And here's what he's doing with the Trump fundraising emails that go out, as well as the donation button on his official Trump website. Direct contributors to make donations that kick 5% of the total to Vice President JD Vance's PAC. Working for Ohio is the name of the PAC. And the thought is that since Trump is kicking 5% of his donations over to Vance, that it will allow Vance to then pad his.
But he's not charismatic. You know what I mean?
But Trump is basically picking him as the next guy by giving the money to him over.
But you still have to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like it's still.
I don't know what you do. Maybe all you need is the support of MAGA. And if Trump says, hey, JD Vance is up next at bat, you're like, well, okay, Trump told me to vote for JD Vance next.
But, okay, again, not wishing death on anybody, but if Trump is no longer around, okay, again, not wishing death, but Trump is not going to live forever. He's not a god, right?
Guys of old age and natural causes, yes.
Right. Okay, so if Trump's not around, to give, and I'm sorry, Don Jr. and Eric, Beavis and Butthead, do not have the clout. I do not give a crap what you say. They don't, in my opinion. The world is upside down if they do. Okay. If they do, I'm moving. They do, I'm moving. I don't care. If I have to listen to those two talk for the rest of my life, I'm leaving. I am leaving. Rosie O'Donnell me out of this country. But I definitely think if he's gone and doesn't have like Trump, as a cheerleader, it's gonna be an uphill battle. It won't be, at least it won't be a slam dunk.
Well, it won't be as much of an uphill battle if he has the giant cache of money to start with, right? And that's what they're doing.
I mean,
they're building it right now. They're starting now to funnel that 5% right into JD Vance's coffers.
Well, maybe. I mean, again, Republicans need to. They're not. I don't think that the Republicans, what they're doing right now, at least, is popular, right? Like they're taxing people, tariffs. They're not giving people health care. The economy has not improved. People do not have more money in their bank accounts. What they're doing is not working.
And people are getting it.
And people are like, I thought my life was going to be easier, and it's not.
No.
So they need to like do stuff to make it,
make it better for their base, right. The people that voted against their own best interests. Did you see the video or the pictures of the hundreds and hundreds of farmers in Arkansas that had gathered together to speak to their Congress people because they're at risk of going bankrupt because of the Trump tariff policies and economic policies. And they're begging for a handout, for a little help, because
for a little socialism.
Beautiful.
Do you mean a little socialism?
That's exactly what they want.
Socialism, Kim?
That's what they want.
Oh, is that what you're
because they're
talking
going to
about?
lose their farms, and I don't want anyone to lose their farms or their livelihood. But why were you such a big dummy and vote against your own self-interest? He said he would do tariffs. We all knew this was coming, and they voted against their own best interest. And now they're like, oh shoot, now we're in trouble. And so the big beautiful bill that was supposed to help them, that won't kick into effect soon enough to save the farms. So now hundreds of these farmers, not only in Arkansas, but in many states, are saying, hey, Trump, help us now before we lose our farms.
Because they have to plan ahead. Farming takes time. Farmers are always on the brink. Farming is not something that you do it because you love it. You know what I mean? It's part of your life. But it is a constant battle, right? Because one, climate change, which you are also part of a party that's not working with you on that. I mean, if you talk to farmers, they understand climate change. They understand soil, they understand water, they understand all of that nonsense. And yet you're talking to a political party that likely doesn't get it, right? So they have that. And then they have this nonsense. They have tariffs. They have all of this bullshit. So they want a little socialism. Oh, interesting. So farmers were okay with Trump going after other people, just not them. So, and Rhonda says that's the plan. Corporations buying those failed farms, that somehow, because they're really going to take care of us.
And
they're going to care about the health of the farms and the safety, because corporations do things on the up and up, right? They don't cut corners and make sure that, wastewater is taken care of and the pesticides are being treated, all that kind of stuff. We're screwed. And the FDA and all that, those people aren't being cut.
No, they were all fired anyway. And so one wonders now that this is happening to farmers across America. Did they get it yet? Do they understand yet what's happening?
You want to know why they don't get it, Kim? Is because of the media that they listen to. I want to play you. Did you see this video of Don Lemon? Remember Don Lemon?
Yeah.
So he got kicked off. Did you see this thing on the man on the street thing that he did?
No.
So he got yelled. I hated doing man on the street as a reporter. Hated it with everything in my soul. The reason why I hated man on the street is one, I don't like it because one, it was always butt crack and dawn, and it was always people at the gas station because it was the only person that was kind of stuck there. And two, it's not actually scientific. It's this is one person at this one place. Okay, whatever. But this guy did not like Don Lemon. So they had a quite heated exchange. Here we go. Watch.
You live in New York? Who are you?
Don Lemon.
You're a fucking moron, dude.
Thank you. So are you.
Yeah, that's very nice of you to say.
Nice to see you.
Except you've never heard anything I've had to say, and I've heard a whole bunch of what you.
I'm glad you watched me.
No, I don't.
Why?
You just get clipped everywhere.
I know, but why don't you? You said you don't watch me, but yet you know who I am, and I get clipped.
Before I realized that CNN and MSNBC were full of shit, every once in a while I'd see.
What do you watch?
Talking. I watch all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, but why do you say CNN and MSNBC are full of shit?
Because they lie.
But about what? Be
Everything.
specific. What's everything?
Everything.
You say that, but you have no examples. Give me some examples.
Well, they lie about genocide.
What do
They
you mean?
lie about all wars.
They're not lying about genocide. They're
lie
reporting.
about-
Hold on, let me finish.
they
One thing
lie
at a time.
about-
One time.
they lie-
One thing at a time.
Don't tell me when
One
I
thing
can
at a
speak.
time. One thing at a
Don't tell
time.
me
So we
when I
can.
can speak.
So
If
the
you
international courts are calling it genocide. It's not MSNBC or CNN that's calling it that. So they're just reporting what they're calling
it. It was obvious what it was on about October 17th.
That it was genocide?
Yeah.
You said they lied about genocide, that it wasn't genocide. I thought you were saying that it wasn't genocide.
No. They lied that it was. Yeah, they lied that it wasn't.
No.
They would never say it's genocide.
Okay, so anyway, so he gets heckled. Okay, the whole reason why I wanted to play this is it's where people get their media, right? So if you're just listening, we've had this conversation. If you're just listening to, I know, right? He's British, so
I know.
think about that.
Where's the ice, please?
Exactly. I know, right? He's white. It won't matter. But did you also see the reason why I wanted to play that is, did you see that Newsmax is suing Fox News, alleging a monopoly of power? Okay. They filed this was last week I wanted to talk about it last week, but I didn't get to it, accusing that Fox News has a monopoly and is suppressing its right-leaning competitors. So apparently, like, it won't let channels have other Fox stuff if it allows Newsmax and OAN and all these other channels to also be on it. Okay. Or these like DirecTV and things like that. Okay. So they're kind of holding this monopoly. I will never say this ever again, but I really actually hope that Newsmax loses this lawsuit. And there's a reason why.
I think they did, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did they lose it? I didn't think that it already needed to happen. Oh, did they?
Yeah, this judge has dismissed the Newsmax lawsuit against Fox, and the judge did it in under 48 hours. It's good old Judge Iryna Zarutska, and she has said in a 2-page order that the complaint is impermissible shotgun pleading. A shotgun pleading is unclear, hard to understand for the opposing party. She wrote that the most common type of pleading by a long shot is a complaint with multiple counts where each count includes the allegations of all the preceding counts. She said the second, third, fourth, and fifth counts in the complaint incorporated all the preceding allegations, blah, 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 rendering the complaint. They were repeating their argument in too many different counts, and it was impermissible, and she kicked it. She didn't like the way it was filed. So it wasn't necessarily that Fox doesn't have a monopoly on conservative views or what have you, but it was that the way the complaint was filed was impermissible and didn't work for her. So she kicked it out.
Well, the reason why I don't like it is, like, I can handle Fox News, right? But if all of these channels are on there, I mean, can you imagine just the ability, just the overtaking of it all? Because I hate the headlines that I see. CNN head says stop, left-leaning news shows, blah, blah, blah. You never hear Fox News head says stop right-leaning news shows. OAN needs to stop having biased news shows. That never, ever happens. And so all of these channels, if Newsmax, OAN were allowed to be on all of these different channels,
right,
would just flood the market. Absolutely. I'll just take Fox News. It's a monster. I understand. You know what I mean? I'm glad that you told me that. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to come back and
they'll refile
lawsuit. Yeah. Exactly. But right-wing media doesn't give a shit that they're right-wing media. Right. And they do it proudly. And nobody on the right calls them out for the obvious bias, but will completely call out the left for it, even though they know that they're being hypocrites. And so that's what just drives me nuts. And I know that I'm just saying the obvious and I'm speaking to the choir here, but it's just annoying. I totally missed that headline. I'm so glad. Thank you.
It's coming back. So it's just dismissed on the technicality. They'll refile, they'll try it again. But it's definitely interesting, that Newsmax would be upset that Fox has more viewers.
Of course, they want more viewers. They're like, we're not going to be able to get any viewers if you're not going to let us on any of these channels. Right. But I mean, Newsmax sucks. OAN sucks. If you watch it, and the only reason why people on the right don't watch Fox News anymore is because Fox News had to pay for being too far right. And they're like, you're not being far right enough. I have to go even more right. So it's just absolutely nuts. So it's crazy. Okay, let's switch gears. Let's do something.
Are we going lighter?
Yes.
Can I make a comment before we go lighter? I want to make one more heavy comment before we leave.
Okay, go.
Before we leave and take a deep breath.
It's still heckling though, but it'll be lighter. I promise. Go ahead.
What I want to say is that given what our kids saw today at school, and the video was basically seen by what appears to be high school kids across at least the Bay Area, this is different. This whole seeing the violence right? Moments after it happened, because everything's caught on video and immediately streamed or posted like this. You
Mhm.
can't go right now to NBC, ABC, CBS, and network and see the actual
Video.
footage, right? Because with real media doesn't post that. We have standards. We don't do that.
Yeah.
But a whole generation of kids just saw this guy get popped in the neck and bleed out on stage.
Oh yeah.
And I feel, or behind a table or under a tent, whatever it was. And it feels to me different, and a different experience than assassinations of other eras, right? Where we knew it happened.
Hey, JFK was shot in a parade in front of everybody.
It's true. But this, though, is so, the footage is so widespread. There's no blurring. There's no fuzzing.
No, and it's awful.
And they saw it. They saw all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry that's something different. And maybe I'm just like, it's the mom in me. And maybe you're right about JFK's assassination and other assassinations that were so visible, but it's just this one, for whatever reason, it feels like all the kids were watching and all the kids saw it in real time before we did.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I will agree with you. I mean, but again, this is the reality of the generation that our kids have grown up in. With phones and the internet, they've seen everything.
Yep.
So we just have to understand that's, and hopefully you have, safeguards on their phones. But Marley, she's the one that sent it to me. It was a screenshot of I think a TikTok video or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just no getting around it. These kids are going to see it. And so you can tell them all till you're blue in the face not to look at it anymore. But yeah, they've got, and I will also say this, kids have strong opinions about these things.
Yeah.
Marley was telling me their friends are debating it, like literally debating it, and on other sides. So I kind of like it. You know what I mean? As long as they keep it civil, I think we're raising, hopefully critical thinkers. So but okay, this is
Julia says she's not as liberal as I am. And I'm like, how do I respond to that? I'm like, you good. Have your own opinions. Think for yourself. But I was like, did I do something wrong?
The response that you told me makes her liberal. I just think that she is a little more empathetic than you might be.
I've done a better job with her than I've done with myself. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I think she might have had a little more heart for Charlie Kirk than you did. That's all. I wouldn't say she's not
my bad.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. All right, I have to do this story because I'm dying. I have been laughing about this story all week because I feel like I don't know what I would do. And this goes back to political discourse, but in a different way. It's not political. It's just literally what people do in this internet age. Because we talked about kids have their phones and things happen on the internet, and the internet is forever, and the things that you put online. So have you been following the Phillies Karen story?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. So the latest is, have you seen that the dad that was involved in the Phillies Karen is lay off the chick because I feel like she's been punished enough? So if you guys don't know and you've been under a rock, basically this woman was at a Phillies game. The dad, the ball was live. It was down. The guy got it, gave it to his son. This chick just basically reams him that's mine. And he's like, get away, fine, take the ball. And she was booed to death. And it went up on social media, and she has just been. So here's a picture. Let's see if I can. I think this is big enough for you guys if you haven't seen her. I mean, her hair has been everywhere. So there she is yelling at the poor guy and the son, which is just and if you Google it, there she is. The number of, and of course they bring the kid on, he gets all kinds of stuff. So he makes out like a bandit, right? But the guy, here he is. I want to play it for you because this is the dad talking about it. Let me do this. I do think that, oh wait, I was already sharing. Here we go.
As soon as it cracked off the bat, it was starting to head our way a little bit. So I walk to my right, walk to my right, walk to my right. And I thought, oh crap, it's coming. And I walked down a couple seats and it fell and kind of bobbled between the two armrests. And I picked it up. And as I was pulling away, two other hands came. And I mean, I didn't really care at that point. I just walked away and held the ball up high and put it in Lincoln's glove and was hoping he'd be on the, the Megatron TV or whatever. And then she showed up.
So you walked back over to your seat. You gave the ball to Lincoln. She came over a couple minutes later. What was she saying to you?
No, it was like 10 seconds or 15 seconds later. She was quick.
Sure.
She definitely scurried on over.
What did she say?
I didn't even see her walk up. And as she reached for my arm, she just yelled in my ear, "That's my ball!" Like super loud.
Wow.
And I was like, why are you here? Go away.
Precious.
And she's like, "That's my ball. You stole it out of those are from our seats." I said, there was nobody in that seat. She said, "That's from where we were sitting."
So weird.
And she just went on and on.
Yeah, and it's just not worth it. So basically the guy's like, it's just not worth it. So I think that the thing that I love about this guy, and the reason why I wanted to talk about it, is she's been vilified online. They've been posting her picture. Yeah. There was even a company that said, we will pay you for the ball, but there's a catch. He's like, we will give you $5,000 for the baseball, but she has to write on it that she's sorry. Like, I'm sorry, so she can give it back to the kids. I just feel like, at what point does internet shaming, is it enough, right? Like, at what point do you have to be fired from your job? Like, does the fact that she's been publicly humiliated, isn't that enough? Is it ever just enough? Or do you have to get people fired from their job? Like, oh my God, this woman was a complete idiot. She yelled at this guy. She took the ball from a kid, like, which is really humiliating. But the kid ended up getting like a baseball bat. He met baseball players. Like, she actually gave the kid a gift. It's like, if she hadn't done that, all he would have gotten was a ball.
It's true, but the team, whatever team it was or whatever athlete it was, shouldn't have to compensate for the a-holeness of others.
Yeah, I mean,
and if enough people do that, they're going to stop. They're going to say, yeah, people are just mean and horrible in the world, and that's it. And did you see this guy? And it happened. They happened right back to back. This is this CEO who snatches this hat. He signs a hat for a kid. Yeah, he takes it. He's like, wait a minute, that's my hat. Like, he signs his hat for this kid. Seriously?
Adult. This is my thing.
And the
guy shouldn't be down there.
Like, it's very clear that this tennis player. What?
Yeah, and the tennis player doesn't even look like, he's like holding it like this, and like the guy doesn't even look. I don't think adults should be down there anyway. Like, on that in that video, like, that should be kids only. Like, you should not be down there. It should be only kids.
Well, you should, and if you are, you should be shamed. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that was
he was though. He was. I think he gave it back, right? I think
it was Peter Zarek was his name. Is the U.S. Open hat thief Peter Zarek. He's been called the new Coldplay Kiss Cam CEO. He took the tennis star Camille, and I'm sorry, I'll butcher the name, Machzerok's hat from him.
Right.
And then online people figured out who he is. He's the Polish CEO, Peter Zarek. And now people are like, what are you doing? And he's now being denigrated all over the internet.
Of course.
And he said he wasn't sorry. He said he would do it again.
No, I thought he gave it back.
He might have eventually, but
first, I think he gave it back because he was being vilified online. See, that's what internet shaming does. No, I think he gave it back. Or he did something like, I think he felt I think he did. Maybe he didn't. I thought he did. I just think that internet shaming, on one hand, has a purpose, right? Like, okay, you should do the right thing. If you haven't, then, right? But at the same time, there's a limit. Like, we don't need to ruin somebody's, unless you're like a child molester or you've done something terrible, right? Like, but if you stole a ball from a kid or a hat from a kid, Yes. Look at Tammy. No remorse. Like at some point,
it says a lot
let's
about
let
your
it
character.
go.
Yeah, but
Like
it says
how
a lot about character. I'm sorry.
it does. But the internet, the internet is a huge thing. Like, again, I think that we're thinking it's just us. Like, think about being the person. It's not just one or two people. It is the internet. Imagine being that person. It is an onslaught, oscillating between "you're awful" to "you should die." You know what I mean? Like, it's just, let's pull back as a society, going all the way back to what we were talking at the beginning of the show. People can be nuts. So maybe we should just take a collective breath, be like, that wasn't nice, and just not participate.
I don't know. I kind of think there's a beauty to it. At least, you get called out for being such a jerk. And in this case, what I'm reading in Forbes is that after all the internet pressure on this guy who stole the hat, he issued an apology and he claims he gave the hat back to the kid.
Yeah.
So he called it a grave mistake. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, it is. You shouldn't take. What do you need that for? I mean, come on. You're a CEO. Like, come on.
Is it that important to you? Yeah.
Come on. Please, please, please. I just think it's just stupid. So again, I think the internet can be a great but very harsh punisher. Let's pull back once it's done. Phillies Karen, she's still getting it. I mean, the memes alone are awful. Okay, one more story. Go ahead.
It's like those videos of people being mean to kids and old people, or dogs, kids, and old people. Like it's just such this lack of empathy. Like it just shows who you are as a person. I don't have sympathy.
The world will take care of people like that, especially people that harm kids and dogs or pets. It's awful. So there's a movie coming. Of course, it's coming to Apple TV after I already canceled my subscription. But there is a local connection. It's called The Lost Bus, and it's all about the campfire. And do you know who's in this movie?
Tell me, Jenna Lane?
No.
Oh, no, then I don't.
Why would you say Jenna Lane?
Because I know that at one point I think she left one of her jobs to go work on a documentary about the campfire. So that's why I thought that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jenna Lane, by the way, if you guys don't know, is a former colleague of ours at KGO. So The Lost Bus is the horrific saga of the campfire, of course, back in 2018. That was obviously in our neck of the woods, although it's not shot in California, but whatever. It's a story told of Kevin, a school bus driver who was tasked with bringing 22 children to safety. It's a true story, right? This guy, Kevin McVeigh.
Do you remember the fire burning on both sides of the road and the melted vehicles and how dangerous and treacherous?
It was this bus driver and two teachers, but the movie only has one teacher who's played by America Ferrara, who was in Barbie. And the bus driver is played by none other than Matthew, my kind of hottie. So,
okay.
Guess who's going to be watching this movie? It's going to be in theaters, I think later this month, and then of course on Apple TV in October, which I could totally have watched it for free, but maybe I'll just have to re-up my subscription to watch it for free or go see it in the theaters. But anyways, it's apparently it's taken from this book Paradise: One Town Struggle to Survive an American Wildfire, and it's the book was written by San Francisco Chronicle reporter Lizzie Johnson. But the story is insane, and apparently I was reading this SF Gate article about how they filmed it, and obviously they don't want to start these fires, and they didn't do it. Where did they do it? I forgot where they had filmed it because they weren't going to do it. Apparently they didn't want to be insensitive, and so they didn't film it obviously in California, and they had to use all these gas pipes with these trees and everything like that to create the fires. But it was a very, very interesting article. If you Google The Lost Bus and SF Gate, they did a really great article about it. But yeah, they were saying the fire trucks, the temperature outside the fire trucks was 1,500 degrees. And if the glass had broken on the trucks, everyone inside, like that's all that was saving them, basically. But yeah, apparently it's a good movie. You know, I got to see it because my guy's in it. But I'm just really, obviously, because it's about the campfire. So I don't know. Maybe it was Canada. I'm trying to find where they had done it. I thought they had said it. I'm trying to find where it was. But anyways, it was not filmed, obviously, where the campfire was. But anyways, it's done by Paul Greengrass, who had done United 93 and Captain Phillips and all the Bourne films, like the Bourne Identity. And so it's definitely gonna be good. And I'm glad they're doing it. Apparently they were like, we don't want to be preachy about it, you know, but obviously they did touch on the fact of climate change and things like that, because you can't talk, and PG&E, they also talk about PG&E. They're like, you can't talk and do a film about the campfire without obviously stating the obvious, which is why it happened. And so, yeah, that's
this is a movie or a series?
Yeah, no, it's a movie. So
this is going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to that.
It's going to premiere in theaters on September 26th and on Apple TV on October 3rd. So,
oh wow, okay.
I know. It's going to be a hard watch, Heather. I couldn't watch the thought of all the pets. I know. Yeah. Believe me. And that's a good point, Heather. I wonder how many Californians are really, especially Northern Californians, are going to be able to watch it. You know, a movie that I have not. Oh my God.
This, by the way, is 3 Days in Paradise. This is the Emmy-nominated documentary that Jenna Lane was involved in.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure what the outcome of the Emmy nominations were, but it's supposed to be really good, and I haven't seen it yet. So
a movie that I still haven't seen, and I don't know why I just can't get myself to watch it, was Fruitvale Station. And I know that it's excellent, and I just have not been able to bring myself to watch it.
What's it called?
Fruitvale Station, about the shooting of
Fruitvale Station. Yeah.
I've never been able to watch that movie. I don't know why. I think it's just because we covered it so much. And I'm just like.
So at book club the other day, and I've mentioned this book several times, but we read this book about racism, and I forget, I don't think I have it in here anymore. We read this book about racism, and in the discussion, names of people who have wrongfully shot by police came up. And my sister looked at me and said, I don't know who Oscar Grant is. I was like, really?
Oh, no.
How do you not know who Oscar Grant is?
Well, I mean,
good for you. I know all about it, and I'll tell you right now. Yeah.
I think that like Messerly, like that name, like and just like seeing the video over and over again, and just I think just going through the whole story of it. Yeah. And then I've seen like clips of it, and I know that it's going to be good. I know that Ryan Coogler's and I know it's going to be good, but I don't want to see. Like, there's just some movies that it's like, I just know what's going to happen. And I just know it's going to be sad. So I wonder how many Northern Californians, especially, are going to want to even watch The Lost Bus. Now, you guys know I have to watch it for obvious reasons. And you know who else is in The Lost Bus? Levi McConaughey, his son. I think this is the first movie that he's doing with his son. Yeah. So I think he's going to be one of the children on the bus. So that's going to be another thing that I got to watch. You know, absolutely. I got to watch my guy. So, but yeah, so that's just going to be, okay. Yeah. See, Yvonne. Yeah, me too. Nikki, it cuts me so hard that I need to feel it. Sometimes makes me feel alive, not numb. Yeah, it's hard. Okay, well, that's our show. Thank you guys for being here live. I know it was a kind of a hard day today, given the news of the day, but I'm actually glad that we were able to do a show today. Yeah. I did have a scheduling conflict, so thanks, guys, for being here. Obviously, if you are watching this on Thursday, that's why it's recorded. But thank you guys for watching on Thursday. Again, we are 100% crowdfunded, so if you can support us in all the ways that are in the show notes, we do appreciate it. We have Patreon. We love PayPal, and the super chat and super stickers are always live. We got to give some thank yous, of course, to those that support our show. Louise is a huge supporter, and we love you so much for the $5 donations that you always kick down to us during the super chats and the super stickers. Thank you for all three of those. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, we love being here. So if you could support us in any way, even if it's a thumbs up or a sharing of the show. We really do appreciate it because we love you guys. All right, we will be back normal day and time, Thursday at 5 o'clock Pacific next week. All right, take care of each other. All right, we love you. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.